Good day, ma'am. For this video, we tackled the Unit 3, Topic 3, which is the neuroscience and the brain development. So first is that we all know that studying science is an organized way of gathering and analyzing evidence about the natural world, like a way of observing, thinking, and knowing. And science refers to the organized of body of a knowledge that people have gained using the system, and also it is the experimentation. And when we say neuroscience, it is the scientific study of the nervous system that focus on the brain and its impact on the behavior and the cognitive functions. Example is the memorization. While the brain development, it is a lifelong process, which is from the childhood to adulthood. And these are important things in our life. Why? Because it controls and coordinate actions and reactions that allows us to think and feel and enable us to have memories and feelings, all the things that make us a human. So let's move on from the nervous system, which is one of the major points that we need to study. So nervous system is made up of the brain or the spinal cord and all the nerves that come run between your or brain and the spinal cord. And it is composed of two major categories, which is the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system. And when we say a peripheral nervous system, um, it is a division of the nervous system that containing all the nerves that lie outside of the central nervous system, and the primary role of this peripheral nervous system is to connect the CNS, or the word central nervous system, to the organs and the limbs and skin, and it contains sensory nerves and the motor nerves. Meaning to say um, that sensory nerves is the report information to the brain, while motor nerve is carry orders from the central nervous system, or the CNS, to muscles, gland, to contract and produce chemical messengers. And from the peripheral nervous system, there are two divisions. First is the autonomic division, and second is the what do you call this one? Uh, Somatic division. And from the autonomic division, there are two nervous system, which is the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So next is the central nervous system. Means it is the brain and spinal cord, which is receive information and decides what to do with it. And the brain has composed the three parts, which is the cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. And when we say cerebellum, it is located under the cerebrum, and its function is to coordinate muscle movements, maintain posture, and also the balance. And while medulla oblongata is that a lowest part of the brain and the lowest portion of the brainstem. So from the topic, we also tackle the forebrain. Means it is the part of the brain that controls many of the senses. And there are two, which is the thalamus, meaning to say It is direct sensory message to higher centers in the brain, while hypothalamus is controls your hormone system. So next is the what do you call this one? The limbic system means the part of the brain that involve in our behavioral and emotional responses. And from the cerebral cortex, there are four lobes, which is the frontal lobes, parietal lobes, uh, temporal lobes, and the occipital lobes. So the next is the functions in the brain lateralization. When we say lateralization, it is the localization of the functions or the activity on a one side of the body that preference to the other. And there are two, which is the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. And when we say left hemisphere, it is the brain in charge of the cognitive functions, which is speech and the language, while the right hemisphere, um, it is more creativity and face recognition. Then, then lastly, it is the word neuron. Means it is the nerve cells send and receive signals from our brain. And from this, there are two neurons, which is the sensory neuron and the motor neurons. Then, when we say sensory neurons, it is carries signals from the outer parts of your body, while the motor neurons is carries signals from the central nervous system to the outer parts like the muscles, skins, glands of your body. And as an educator, we need to have a basic understanding from this topic in order to know how to get the students' brain active and ensure that what students learn sticks and how the learners learn the best. Thank you.